pounds into that.
See the step to the side, though? Beautiful that is from Ortiz. Takes a step with his back foot to the side of.
Ain't no more sitting back. Ain't no more staying silent. It's time to move. I don't know about y'all, but we about to take over. I am the best. I am the toughest heavyweight in the division. I am the man in the division. I don't care what anybody else got going on in their country or what they doing. You got to come through me and see me.
What's up, family? How y'all doing, man? This the guys at the Sports Coma. I'm Big Q. Got DC via Skype. What's going on, DC?
Yo, what's up, man?
We talking about today, man. We're going to preview the Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz bout that's coming up on Saturday, March the 3rd, 2018. And that'll be at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. It's going down in the Big Apple between two serious heavyweights. Of course, Deontay Wilder, the champ, marching in with a great record of 39-0 with 38 knockouts. And going against Luis Ortiz, King Kong. So it's the Bronze Bomber versus King Kong, Luis Ortiz. 28-0.
Can I make a statement real quick?
28-0, 24 knockouts. What you got, DC?
I think their names are backwards. Deontay Wilder fight like King Kong, and he called himself the Bronze Bomber. You know, yeah, Joe Louis was the Brown Bomber. Ortiz fight more like Joe Louis than Deontay Wilder. And Deontay Wilder wild as hell, like King Kong. They need to switch their names, man. They need to go ahead on and do that.
You might have to switch the nicknames, but the name is the game when it comes down to Deontay Wilder. He's definitely a wild fighter. Wow. He could definitely be wild at times, but he's a huge fighter.
Boy, he got a wild fight too.
6'7", he's about 6'7", he got 83-inch reach. Man, this guy can punch all the way from Kansas. 32 years of age, 32 years old, and he's going against Luis Ortiz, 28-0, 24 knockouts. Big guy, 6'4", 240 pounds, 84-inch reach. But he is a southpaw going against an orthodox guy, fighter. 38 years old. DC, you had an opportunity to look up. You had the opportunity to look up both of these fighters. What's your takes on Wilder and Ortiz, starting with Ortiz?
Man, I was actually, I knew of Ortiz, I've heard of him, but I didn't really dig into him that deeply. But Ortiz is actually a very scary fighter. I don't even think Anthony Joshua, who I think is probably the best out of the three, but not by far. I don't think Anthony Joshua wants to see Ortiz. Ortiz is a very technical fighter. He can hit you hard as hell coming from nowhere with that left hand. There's no warning for his left hand. He doesn't have a setup move for it. He don't jab you first. He might come underneath one of your punches or weave back and just come out of nowhere with that left hand. So him being a southpaw and Deontay Wilder being an orthodox fighter, I think that may present a bit of a challenge for Deontay Wilder. I don't think he's fought in any southpaws, if I'm not mistaken. But Deontay Wilder has a serious right hand. I mean, he punched the Jesus out of you. You know? And that's basically the main thing he got going in his reach. He's very, very long. Ortiz is short, but Ortiz can bring power from the outside or the inside. Deontay Wilder, you know, I don't really see him doing a lot on the inside. I'm sure he can bring some power, but he's a long fighter, so he's gonna have to keep Ortiz at a distance. And the thing with this fight, man, if Ortiz can eliminate Deontay Wilder's that right hand, that serious right hand that he got, if he can take that away, if he can do that, man, it'd be a very interesting fight. And I think Deontay Wilder could wind up losing this fight. But there was another boxer, I think his last name was Washington. He attempted to do the same thing. He did take away Deontay Wilder's right hand for a large amount of the fight, but once Deontay Wilder landed that right hand, put him to sleep.
Yeah, this is an interesting bout between two really big fighters. We previewed the other bout, between Anthony Joshua and Joseph Parker, which I think is probably going to be a better fight because I think both of those guys.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it'll be a better fight. And this is why Deontay Wilder to me going against Ortiz. Some of these guys, and I'm not going to be honest with you, the heavyweight division for a while been a very weak division, but seemed like these 4 fighters are like the cream of the crop when it comes to the heavyweight division. These are the top people. So this was a good look for both Joshua and Deontay Wilder, who couldn't get together on the fight, but to have they have tune-up fights. They get tune-up fights so they can go at each other. This is what it is.
Well,
Think about it.
They ain't gonna need to fight for about another 6 or 7 months after these.
They're looking at the idea is that, you know, Wilder gets Ortiz, Joshua gets Parker, and these are tune-up fights to get ready for the December bout, November, December, when they have the super fight between Wilder and Joshua. The only problem is they got to get through Parker and Ortiz to get there. And
this must be the tune-up when they change the timing belt and everything, because this kind of serious. The water pump, the sparks plugs, all that.
Let's check
hell of a tune-up fight, man.
Now, going back to the Wilder and Ortiz bout, there was some flap that happened between the fact that Ortiz failed a couple of drug tests, and of course it was the comment that Wilder made about once a cheater, always a cheater. And they had this bout set to happen before it originally was canceled due to the fact that Ortiz tested dirty, but he said it was blood pressure, medication, what have you. So he's got a history of that kind of stuff going on, but I think he'll steer straight for this fight. The issue is, Deontay Wilder hasn't fought, I haven't seen his repartee, you might disagree with me, a fighter as competent as Ortiz is, that he's faced.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with you on that thing.
Okay, so and I can see the same thing about Ortiz. Has not seen a fight on his resume of Deontay Wilder's caliber. So these guys both will be testing each other in areas that they have not been tested before. The only issue is, can Wilder overwhelm Ruiz? Because I know Ortiz has the ability and the power in both punches to flatten Wilder. If he's caught, he has the ability to knock him out.
I wouldn't say
the issue, but he's
got a serious left hand. He got a lot of power.
Well, I mean, he's not just David Tua now. He don't have just a mean left hand.
But that left hand is where it's at.
Right, but if you see, I've seen fights where he flattened people with his right hand too. He have good combinations. He's a big fighter, but he's a skill big. He don't get credit for being a very big, a skilled big fighter. Very skilled.
He fight like a middleweight, man. Ortiz has good footwork. He's got a lot of speed to him for a heavyweight, and he has excellent combinations.
Well, let's do a little backdrop on these fighters. Let's start with Ortiz. Ortiz is a guy, of course, he's a black Cuban, and he represents his country well. And to see what he's a member of the Cuban national team. He's a southpaw fighter, and some people call him one of the world's most dangerous heavyweights. Now he's from Miami, Florida.
Yes, man.
And he's like I said, he's 6'4", he's 240 pounds. He's a menacing fighter. He's undefeated, 28-0 with 24 knockouts. So we can't take nothing away from Luis Ortiz. Even though he don't talk much. He did say in a few interviews that Deontay Wilder, he wants to fight Wilder because Wilder is, he talks a lot of bullshit. He's not, he's not really
he called out Anthony Joshua too.
Yes,
I think that was the same interview.
Right. So let's look at Deontay Wilder and go a little breakdown on Deontay Wilder. Then we'll go into our calls on who we think going to win this thing. Deontay Wilder, of course, we know he's from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. 32 years old. He's 6'7", 230 pounds, and he has that massive 83-inch reach. But the thing is, Ortiz has an 84-inch reach, so this is going to be interesting. He has power in both hands, has the ability to punch from awkward angles, and then he can fight you from afar and then encroach on you in a second to make the kill. So he is a very dangerous man as well.
He's an all-around boxer, man. I mean, I don't see a lot of holes in his game,
right? Other
than his physical limitations.
He's a former Olympian, and he took it from being from a former inexperienced Olympian to becoming a heavyweight champion. So Deontay Wilder, man, he had to earn it the hard way, and he's here, 39-0, 38 knockouts. Man, this is just really good boxing here. Bro. Now let's get into. I'm gonna give you the opportunity first, DC. You make the call. Who wins this fight in what round?
I want to say something before I make the call, and I just want to give a shout out to Deontay Wilder, man. I think a lot of people underestimate him, talking about his competition, and the dude has 38 knockouts in 39 fights.
Well, he beat everybody he's supposed to beat, you know.
And he has a title belt. I mean, yeah, he did.
He knock out whoever you put in front of him. You got a weak heavyweight class, whatever. I'm gonna just knock him out.
There's a lot to be said about that, man. The dude tried to fight Anthony Joshua. He never ran from him. He's clearly here fighting Ortiz, and he didn't have to. He didn't have to fight Ortiz at all. But with all that being said, I'm gonna say I think this fight potentially goes to maybe about round 8, and I say Deontay Wilder finally, after a lot of craftiness from Ortiz, he finally catches Ortiz with that big right hand. Because I think a lot of people think Deontay Wilder doesn't have endurance, but I think he's built to go 12 rounds. He just doesn't usually have to. So I think he finally catches him with one of them wild punches with that right hand and put Ortiz down. But prior to that, it'll be a very entertaining fight with Ortiz landing some combinations, maybe stunning Deontay Wilder, maybe possibly making them gloves touch the mat. I think it's gonna be a real good fight, and it could go either way. But I'm gonna say Wilder in 8.
Wilder in 8 due to a KO. That's the call.
That's the call.
I'm gonna definitely say that Deontay Wilder's gonna win this fight over Luis Ortiz. I like both of these fighters. I think Deontay Wilder.
Ortiz can very easily win this fight, though.
I think Deontay Wilder is to me wants it more, and he sees himself on another. Not saying Ortiz doesn't, but Deontay Wilder to me is on a mission, and I just think that he's gonna pose a real tough challenge for Ortiz, more so than Ortiz could do for Wilder. And I don't think he's gonna knock him out a KO. I think it'll be a technical, a TKO style knockout, in which the referee stopped the fight in the later rounds. So I say round 10 or 11, that's when the rounds will be stopped because of what Wilder's gonna do. Because Wilder's gonna start off, he's gonna be a tactician, and he's a patient guy to land those big shots, and they're gonna mount up on Ortiz, you know. And I just think that's how it's gonna go. So that's my call. But you got Ortiz, that southpaw, though, man. He coming from that different angle. I hear you.
I think it's gonna be hard for Wilder to get them power shots early, man. I think he's got to go through an adjustment period of trying to feel him and see what he's going to do.
That's why I say a later round. That's why I say a later round, Rocco, because I think Deontay.
I thought you said he was gonna pop. He was gonna him up in the beginning.
No, I say later round knockout, because Wilder can cut the ring off from Ortiz. Ortiz is not the guy gonna be running away from him. I mean, if you look at Ortiz, is kind of tailor-made.
They both like to fight, man.
They do, but Ortiz is the kind of guy that I think that will, that they'll meet in the center of the ring, and they'll find their styles really match. So, I mean, it's gonna be a difficult matchup here for both fighters, because I don't think either one has fought either guy on any round. But I think Deontay Wilder, to me, gonna win this fight, because it just seems like to me he on a mission, and I think Luis Ortiz, he just sees him as a speed bump on his way to getting Anthony Joshua lined up if he can knock down Joseph Parker, which is, I think that's probably going to be a better fight, because I think Parker is a better heavyweight than Ortiz is, and Deontay Wilder and Joshua is about what and what. So I mean, that's my take on it.
I think Ortiz is probably the most skilled heavyweight outside of Anthony Joshua.
That's saying a lot when you're saying Joseph Parker.
From a technical standpoint, Joseph Parker is good. He's not a bad fighter. I just feel the overall package of what Ortiz brings to the table, along with the long experience that he has from being 38 years old.
He do.
He's a smarter fighter than almost all of them. to be honest.
We'll see. We'll see if he smarts Deontay Wilder in the fight. Remember, y'all, it's March the 3rd. It's a Saturday. 2018, that's next month at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. It's going down. Currently, that's about 8 days away, 23 hours, and about, 8 days, 23 hours, and 28 minutes from.
Get your popcorn ready.
This is going to be a good one. And the month of March is going to be a good bout because we got Wilder early, and then later in that month is Parker and Joshua as the fights line up for later on the year. So that
then after that,
Wilder
they
and
got
Joshua
Triple G coming back around, right?
Yeah. So we got we got a couple of good fights lined up for the month of March. So that's our call on it. This is Big Q and DC from the Sports Coma calling the Wilder versus Ortiz bout. So get your popcorn ready, right, DC?
Oh yeah, man, I'm gonna have mine, so y'all better get yours because you don't want to miss this one.
Well, this is our calls on. Thank y'all for joining us on the Sports Coma special boxing presentation video report.
Sure.
Y'all can subscribe, share the show, like our page for more content, and we'll be around. Thank you very much. Peace.
All right.